first off, going through your stuff, definitely want to say, definitely impressed with everything I see in the bet tracker for sure. You're up almost 25,000 now, so that's solid. Definitely solid to see.
Yeah, when you consider that, when you take a look and you look back and you say like, okay, he started like, just a time frame of getting confident with what's going on, and then once I kind of committed and said, okay, maybe what, August, September, October, when I was like, okay, let me increase this by X number and just dive in, and I know it's going to be positive at the end of the month. So once you get that unit to the right level of what you want, and then it's just sitting back and letting time take over.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it comes down to. So I just want to go through like a couple questions with you real quick, and then you just, whatever's on your brain through the questions, you just tell me what you think. All right. So what was the main problem that you had before joining and coming onto our program?
But I think it's just not, for me being totally new at it, I think it was just not understanding exactly why things move the way they move as far as the lines go, and as far as understanding how the public compared to the money bettors or the sharp bettors affect things, and why when you're looking at something a certain way should you translate that to mean something positive or negative.
I see. Yeah.
Because that's all this is really, am I getting a good value on a bet, or how can I help my value? How can I help my value be extended to the greatest point? So how can I get the best value as to
at
this
the highest
bet?
probability as well? Yeah,
Yeah,
the
because
probability with it.
in effect, that's what you're doing. You're not saying you're going to win or lose. You're saying, if I flip the coin 50 times, then I should statistically get 50%. But that's not what you're saying. You're saying, I'm not going to give you bets that are going to give you 100%, but I'm going to give you bets that should get you more than 50%.
Exactly. Yeah.
So your program's actually increasing the statistics of life, like 50% bet. So the program is like, let me look at the ones that are going to give me the best chance at a more than 50% win. And then that probability being up there, then who's not going to take that bet? Because you're already geared to taking the bet, right?
Yeah.
But let me narrow down those things, because the most important thing to this is not even though you see the $25,000 sitting there, the most important thing is that unit gain. So even if I'm betting $10, my units are still the same as Frank's units.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Just take that, whatever, even though we do like half on some things, but if you take and say, you could take and multiply and say, okay, Jeff, if you ever got your unit size to 1,000, then we're going to multiply that $1,000 times your unit, and that's going to be your profit.
Yeah, that'll be your expected
and it becomes
profit.
It becomes it becomes exponential if you do it, and you can get to that bankroll.
No, exactly. And then another thing would be like, what made you choose us? Like, what made you come upon us really rather than anybody else?
Well, I think that the way that you explain it and the expectations that you set, because what I do as a lawyer is like, biggest part of my job is when a client or you're talking to somebody dealing with an illegal issue, is you're trying to set expectations. And as you might imagine, we spend a whole lot of money on getting this education for getting a law degree. So when I first started, I was like, look, let me find somebody who realistically sets some expectations, because that's what I would do to my clients. And that's what I am. I'm a client. I know nothing about this sports betting, so I'm going to go to somebody that knows. And if they're setting the right expectations and they can teach me how to do this the right way, and look, I mean, most of these guys that are in the group, they'll have their moments from time to time where they stray and go do these other little things.
Yeah,
and then you see the complaints. But if I think the thing, believe it or not, I think the thing that they probably come back to, Frank, is just like coming back to the mothership. Like when you've gone off the rails a little bit, if you have this support system, if you have this system to get you back straight, I think that's what they do. Because I know they can't, man, I'm telling you, they can't just sit there and not If the money
It's
falls at 6%, I'm guaranteeing you somebody's putting money on that from our group.
Yep,
It's not
exactly.
me. It's not me, because I realistically know that I can get away with 2 bets and make my
Yeah.
day,
Hmm.
or 3
Exactly.
bets and make my day. So that's my realism. Like, I just need 2 or 3 with the
Mhm.
amount of money that we're talking about to get to my day.
Now, what would you say to somebody that was like watching us right now and they were like on the fence of joining the program, of getting in? What would you suggest to them?
Oh, it's definitely something that you need to take a look at and invest in. And even if it's the lowest level, get your feet wet, um, do it for 6 months, get the education, because even if you've dabbled around with it, you need to perfect what you're doing
Hmm.
and get the education so you have even more of a solid background. Coming to
Yeah.
this with no knowledge of it, I feel like I could answer the majority of questions to people. I was sitting down with somebody at dinner the other day for New Year's, and he was talking about like an old-fashioned bookie that lets him do $20 bets. And I
Hmm.
was like, look, man, I was like, look, man, I'm doing my one unit at the time is $600. Not like I'm recommending, hey, go out and make that your one unit.
Hmm.
This this applies to any, whatever your unit size is, this applies to it. The importance of this is don't fluctuate. So once you in that month, if you're at $10, then if you're having a hard time, the thing that this teaches you the most is don't fluctuate that $10, because we're going to get to 70% wins. We're going to get to 69% wins. And
Hmm.
you might be down $200, but you're going to make it up in the end. And
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing to get over. The hardest thing I found to figure out was the urge to, like, when you're doing good to overbet, or when you're doing bad to like start tailing down your bets. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned here, and just
Hmm.
feeling solid, feeling the feeling of confidence. I think a lot of people that do sports betting have probably come from the world of sports or grew up playing sports. And one of the best things that makes you good at sports is just the confidence that you can accomplish something, or that confident feeling like I'm going to hit this ball, I'm going to catch this pass. Well, that's what this system does, is like it's a confident system in the sense of I can put this bet down. I know why I put the bet down.
Hmm.
Whether I lose or win the bet, I know that we put this down for this reason. And because over the course of time, the system shows, Frank shows, he can point to the confidence he has in the system, and that translates to you. And it's like a bet it and enjoy the game and forget it,
Hmm. Yep.
and
Exactly.
understand why you did it.
Yep.
Win or
No,
lose,
that's
you understand why you did it.
which is good
And
to
that's the biggest
understand
thing.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another thing is like, treating your unit size, no matter what size it is, like it's a big unit size. Like even if you're betting 60 or if you're betting 600, treat it the
Yeah.
same, because it's like if you get willy-nilly with $60, well, listen, when you get 600, you're not going to want to be like that, because then on any given day you could have 10 bets out, have 6,000 out, and it's like, oh, like it's different. It makes you look at it different. That's one thing like I try to stress to everybody is like whether you're betting 50 or you're betting 500, look at it the same, because it's just like it should be the same mindset behind it, whether you're betting a little bit or you're betting a lot,
Oh,
because
it
no
is.
matter what, no matter what, it's still a loss, or no matter what, it's still a win. So, you got to have the right mindset behind it. That's for sure.
The two most important numbers on the right hand side of that database are, it's not so much the number with the money sign,
Hmm.
it's the number with the percentage, because
Yep.
that's your win loss percentage, and then
Yep. And the unit gain.
it's the unit number. And
Exactly.
so if we're talking about, I think what we did this year, I wasn't in the program for the entire year, Frank, but
Hmm.
since April, you can look at mine since April, but mine's not the best example because I was fluctuating from month to month
Yeah.
on
The
on
unit
what we
size.
were doing. I was getting used to it. So
Hmm.
the money, if I would have started off at $600 way back in April, then that $25,000 would be much greater.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It'd be like 600 times 61, whatever that comes out.
right.
It'd be like
So
37,000 or something like that.
$37,000, right?
Yeah.
So don't look
Yep.
at the money, look at that
Yeah.
unit and say, look, if I would have been betting $100 over the course of that unit size, then we'd be at X.
Yep.
Because And then even bigger than the unit is that percentage, man. I remember new people coming to the group, and then people will have questions like, hey, if we're betting at such and such odds, how are we going to
Yeah,
make? And it's like the easy answer is that number that you see on your bet tracker is not going to fluctuate much. It's
exactly.
going to
It should
be
hover that 70%, you know? And that's like
right.
what I tried to tell everybody, like, like when you have a month and you're hitting like 74%, 75% on a month. Well, guess what? Expect that next month in the beginning, it's going to start coming down, and you're going to reach a little bit of a bad streak because it's going to get it back down from that previous month around that 70%. And you see
And
that,
even,
like you're hovered
yeah,
pretty much 70% almost the whole entire time. So
yeah.
you see that.
And we knew, you and I knew at the end of December when we were like, I'm like, Frank, we're getting close to the end here.
Hmm.
I'm still at about 74. You're at 72, 73, 74. I was like, we know that there's going to be some small losses coming here. And sure enough, it was those
Exactly.
bowl games. Those bowl games bumped us down
Yep. There's like three
to
in a row. Three in a
72.
row.
Yeah, three in a row. And I was like, it's coming. You can't see which one it's going to be. But
That's
for
what
the end
sucks
of,
is like I wish you could see which one it's
right,
gonna be that knocks you. You know, like that would be perfect if we could see that, but there's no way for us to
right.
know.
Because at
Yeah.
some point in December, my December month finished a little over 8,000. But at
Yeah.
some point in December, I was at 9,600, and I
Hmm.
was like, I'm gonna break. There's got to be a Frank record somewhere in here. If I get to 10,000,
Yep.
Frank's gonna be like, okay, I'm giving Jeff the trophy. But
I know.
it's like an investment that you get to control every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't
And
have
it's
to call
something
your
that is that is
stockbroker.
that is interesting that you like to do too, because it's like
Right.
you can invest in the stocks, but who wants to sit there and watch a stock all day? That's not fun, right?
No, I
It's
mean,
not fun to do that.
and look, we're playing. Look, I mean, if you want to take this to people who do deal with stocks and things like that, then take a look at it from this perspective. If you want to go buy Apple, that's a great buy, maybe. I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't even know how that works. But
Yeah.
everybody's charging the same price for Apple. So if you go
Yeah.
to whatever broker, broker Frank, broker Bob, broker whoever,
Yeah, you're getting the
they're
same
all
numbers.
getting the
Yeah.
same price for Apple, right? The
Hmm.
whole thing that we're doing that makes our investment different is, number one, you're getting a daily, well, it's not necessarily daily return because you don't really want to touch it till you evaluate after the month, but you're getting a
Yeah.
monthly return on something that's your own. And then your system is really locking in on the inefficiencies of the books.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
there is a whole bunch of inefficiencies. So,
Hmm.
for example, if you're going to go buy a car and you get the car at the dealership down the street at a better price, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
We're going to the
Exactly.
best price for the car, and then we're getting the inefficiencies in the markets because they're fighting each other for the price,
Hmm.
and we're using that inefficiency to get the best price for us. And you couple that with the system being uh, a, a monthly return, and I don't know what the ROI would be on this stuff, but I mean, we're doing good. I mean,
Well, it's almost like you could take your unit gain and almost like use that as a percentage wise. So like
yeah,
if you keep a unit gain, like let's say you did 600 throughout the whole time, you made 61. That's about like a 61% ROI that you made there.
yeah,
And
right.
like you honestly can't even
Can't
touch
get
that type
that.
of stuff. Yeah, you can't in the
No, you
stock
can't get
market stuff. You can't touch that type of stuff because if you did, people would be making billions of dollars if
that.
that
Right.
was the case.
And I think all I'm gonna do this year to concentrate on is
Yeah.
take like maybe a third of it and put it back and give it back to myself. Take
Hmm.
another, take another, take another third of it and keep adding it to the bankroll, and then do something else with another third of it, like just put it aside or something and
Yeah.
do something with it.
Thanks, Jeff, for coming on and throwing some words out there because it definitely helps.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's a very fun thing to do, to be honest.
Yeah, good. I'm
All
glad.
right, buddy.
So yeah, I'll talk to you later then. All right, Jeff.
All right, man.